All right, so we're going to start at number 20 today, but on your guys' study guides, number 20 is not written on there. So on the side of the study guide that is typed, you'll need to write in what's in the blue there. You'll have to put the vocab word in. So on one side of your card, you're going to have to write what's in the blue, which is Harappan civilization. On the back side of that same card, you'll write what's in the yellow. Now we're kind of changing our focus from last week. Last week we spent most of our time talking about the geography and the land of India and some of the countries around it. From here on out, we'll pretty much be talking about the people and the ancient civilizations that lived on that land. So the first group of people we're going to talk about are called the Harappans. But they settled around the Indus River around 2500 BC. Hopefully that year sounds a little bit familiar to you. So that's about the same time that we said that the Egyptians were building the Great Pyramid. So both those civilizations existed at the same time, just, several thousand miles apart. But the Harappans are going to use the Indus River in a lot of the same ways that the Egyptians used the Nile and the Mesopotamians used the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. So we talked a lot about that stuff earlier in the year. So things like trade, transportation, pottery, mud bricks, food source, water source, all those different ways that we mentioned those different civilizations use their rivers. The Harappans are not going to be any different. Okay? Irrigation, farming, the fresh soil from the flooding. So just kind of keep that in mind as we talk about them. Just because it's a different river in a different part of the world, the reasons for using and settling next to those rivers doesn't really change. But with the Harappans, one of their main contributions was the way that they built their cities. There are two main cities that we'll look at. The one's called Harappa, and the second one's Mohenjo-Daro. And it's number 4 on your study guide. All right, now what made Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, what made those cities so kind of unique for their time, is the different type of advancements that the cities actually had. First is the way that the cities were actually laid out. They were laid out in a grid pattern, much like our major cities are today. So when I say a grid pattern, think about like how the streets are perpendicular to one another, and they form city blocks. Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa were made out the same way, or laid out the same way. The other thing is the plumbing structures that the cities had. Both cities had a form of indoor plumbing where you could dump wastewater and things from inside your home and it was carried outside the house and away from the city. And we'll see those here in a second. So I mentioned the Indus River Valley is where these cities were built and around the Indus River. This is the country of India. This is modern day Pakistan, but at one point it was part of India. But here's that Indus River. So Harappa was more north, and Mohenjo-Daro was a little bit further south, a little bit closer to the river. This is what's left of Harappa. If you look very closely here on the ground, you're going to see these little trench-like labyrinths here. That's what's left of that outdoor plumbing. You can still see the pipe network that's there. Now, when it was functioning and being used by the Harappans, it was covered, so you wouldn't have been able to look down into it. But this part would have been inside the house, and it would have been carried outside the house this way, into this underground pipe system, and then away from the city. So if you kind of think about it, the other cities that we've talked about so far didn't have this. Most people, when they had wastewater, A lot of times it was just dumped outside the house or into the street. So obviously, if you wrap your mind around that a little bit, cities back then didn't exactly smell good. Everything was just kind of thrown on the street and left there. With this system, not only was it carried outside the house and away from the city via these pipes and tunnels, but since they were covered, it really helped keep that smell and that unsanitary conditions, kind of kept that out of the city. Now, next thing we'll look at, this is going to be Mohenjo-Daro. It was rediscovered in 1921, and has been, over the course of time, they're still to this day, they're undigging more of it or excavating more of it. But everything that you see here is going to be made out of mud bricks. So it is built roughly in 2500 BC or so. So it's about 4,500 years old. So again, you're looking at the bricks here, you can kind of see them in better detail here at the bottom. That brick's over 4,000 years old. Still looks like it's in pretty good shape. Now this is an aerial shot of the city. So a couple things you're going to see here. The roads themselves within the city are very straight, but you can kind of see the grid pattern that everything's kind of laid out in here. The other thing you're going to notice is it looks like a swimming pool here almost. That's something they call the Great Bath. So the Great Bath, it's more of a religious bathing pool than anything else. Okay, it's not like people were going to get their rafts and their little swimmers and get in there and swim. It was more for the wealthy and the priest to bathe before religious ceremonies. But this would have been filled with water. If you look over here, you can kind of see the trench that would have carried fresh water to it. So they could have drained it and refilled it. But that would have led directly to the river. All right, so the video I'm going to show you here is really kind of short. But before I play, I did kind of want to go over the narrator a little bit. The woman who narrates it is from India. So when she talks, she does have a little bit of an Indian accent. She speaks English. You can understand what she's saying, but you are going to notice that her voice is a little bit different than what you're probably used to hearing. It is just that accent. Like I said, it doesn't really affect what she says or how you're listening to it, but it is going to sound a little bit different to you.
Discovered quite a few ancient
All right, so the next group of people we'll talk about that settled in this area is going to be called the Aryans. Now, I'll let you write these down today, but we'll probably have to go over them tomorrow.